everyone, and welcome back to English Sports Focus, the premier destination for English immersion through the lens of sporting excellence. I am your narrator, the pitch voice. Today, for History 6, we are examining a figure whose career was not merely a series of athletic contests, but a decades-long performance of aesthetic and technical mastery. We are talking about the Swiss maestro, Roger Federer. In an era defined by raw power and baseline attrition, Federer stood as a bastion of grace, proving that finesse could be just as lethal as force. As we navigate through these 10 chapters, I invite you to analyze the complex clausal structures and nuanced adjectives we've woven into this narrative. This is the story of a man who didn't just play tennis, he transcended it. Let us begin. Chapter 1. The Swiss Prodigy and the Untamed Spirit. In the quiet, orderly landscapes of Basel, Switzerland, a young Roger Federer began his journey, though he was far from the stoic icon we recognize today. As a junior, Federer was a volatile cocktail of immense talent and erratic temperament. He was notorious for his emotional outbursts, frequently shattering rackets in fits of adolescent frustration. Federer's effortless grace was not a natural gift, but a hard-won victory over his own internal chaos. His transition from a hot-headed youth to the epitome of composure is a quintessential example of emotional intelligence in professional sports. He realized that to master the court, he first had to achieve a state of internal equilibrium. This chapter of his life serves as a reminder that even the most impeccable public personas are often built upon the ruins of past indiscipline. Chapter 2. The 2001 Wimbledon Epiphany. Every legend has a passing of the torch moment. For Federer, this occurred in 2001 on the hallowed grass of Wimbledon's center court. Standing across the net was Pete Sampras, the undisputed king of the grass, a man who seemed invincible in London. In a 5-set thriller that served as a microcosm of tennis evolution, the 19-year-old Swiss dethroned the veteran. This match was a revelation. It demonstrated Federer's ability to blend old-school serve and volley tactics with a modern, baseline versatility. It was the first time the world witnessed his fluidity under extreme pressure, a quality that would become his hallmark. This victory didn't just grant him a quarter-final spot. It signaled a paradigm shift in the sport. It was the moment Federer ceased being a prospect and started being a predator, ready to claim his place in the hierarchy of the elite. Chapter 3. 2003. The Breakthrough of the Maestro. While the Sampras victory was a signal, it took 2 more years for Federer to fully inhabit his destiny. The 2003 Wimbledon final against Mark Philippoussis was the definitive breakthrough. When he fell to his knees after the final point, the tears he shed were not just of joy, but of profound relief. He had finally validated the immense expectations that had been placed upon his shoulders since his early teens. This victory initiated a period of dominance that remains unparalleled in the history of the men's game. Federer didn't just win, he dismantled opponents with a virtuosity that felt almost disrespectful. His forehand became known as the Great Equalizer, a shot so precise and powerful that it seemed to defy the laws of physics. For the advanced observer, this era is a study in technical economy, how Federer could produce maximum results with seemingly minimal physical exertion. Chapter 4. The Imperial Years, 2004 to 2007. Between 2004 and 2007, Federer reached a level of transcendence that turned professional tennis into a solo exhibition. During this span, he won 11 out of 16 possible Grand Slam titles. He held the world #1 ranking for a record-breaking 237 consecutive weeks. This was not merely dominance, it was a monopoly on excellence. Opponents often described playing him as being suffocated by silk. He wasn't overpowering them with brute strength. He was outmaneuvering them, always staying 2 shots ahead in a psychological game of chess. This period solidified his reputation as the maestro. His ability to maintain such a high level of consistency without suffering from burnout is a testament to his efficient movement and his meticulous scheduling. He made the extraordinary look ordinary, a feat that is the ultimate hallmark of a true master. Chapter 5. The Nadal Rivalry and the Clay Conundrum. No narrative of Federer is complete without the mention of his antithesis, Rafael Nadal. While Federer was all about precision and elegance, Nadal was about power, spin, and unrelenting attrition. This rivalry redefined the sport, presenting a fascinating clash of styles. The clay conundrum became Federer's greatest challenge. In the red dirt of Roland Garros, Nadal's heavy topspin exploited Federer's one-handed backhand, creating a tactical puzzle that seemed unsolvable. For years, Federer was the second-best player in the world on clay, only because he was playing against the greatest clay quarter of all time. This rivalry is a masterclass in competitive adaptation. It forced Federer to constantly refine his game, proving that even a genius must evolve when faced with a specialized threat. Their matches were not just games. They were gladiatorial contests that captivated a global audience. Chapter 6. 2008 Wimbledon. The Greatest Narrative. The 2008 Wimbledon final is widely considered the greatest match ever played. It was the culmination of the Federer-Nadal saga. In the fading London light, after rain delays and nearly 5 hours of play, Federer's 5-year reign at Wimbledon was finally ended. This defeat was a pivotal moment in the maestro's biography. For the first time, his invincibility was shattered on his favorite surface. However, his reaction to the loss was as impeccable as his victories. He showed a magnanimity in defeat that elevated his status beyond just a champion. This match highlighted the vulnerability that makes a sporting icon human. It proved that Federer's legacy was not just built on his trophies, but on his ability to endure the most painful losses with dignity and grace under fire. Chapter 7. The 2009 Redemption and the Career Grand Slam. In 2009, Federer finally conquered his white whale. With Nadal's unexpected early exit from the French Open, the door was left ajar for Federer to claim the one trophy that had eluded him. The pressure was suffocating. Every fan in the stadium knew this was his best, and perhaps last, chance to complete the career Grand Slam. His victory over Robin Soderling in the final was an emotional crescendo. By winning in Paris, he equaled Pete Sampras's record of 14 majors and joined the exclusive club of players who have won all 4 Grand Slams. This achievement cemented his place in history. It demonstrated that his versatility was absolute. He wasn't just a grass court specialist, he was a polymath of the tennis court, capable of adapting his virtuosity to any surface and any condition. Chapter 8. Defying the Over-the-Hill Narrative, 2012 to 2016. As Federer entered his 30s, the sports media began to craft a narrative of decline. They suggested that the rise of Novak Djokovic and the physical toll of a decade at the top would soon force Federer into retirement. Federer's response was a masterclass in defiance. In 2012, at age 30, he won his 7th Wimbledon title, reclaiming the world #1 spot. However, the subsequent years were plagued by back injuries and a knee surgery in 2016. For a player who had never retired mid-match in over 1,000 contests, this frailty was a new experience. Critics once again claimed his epoch had ended. They failed to realize that Federer's longevity was not just physical, it was a calculated reinvention. He switched to a larger racket frame and shortened the points, proving that intellectual play can compensate for the inevitable loss of youthful speed. Chapter 9. The 2017 Resurgence. An impossible renaissance. After 6 months away from the tour in 2016, Federer returned at the 2017 Australian Open as the 17th seed. At 35 years old, no one expected him to win. What followed was perhaps the most miraculous run in modern tennis history. He navigated through a draw of younger, more powerful players, meeting his old rival Nadal in the final. Down a break in the 5th set, Federer played a brand of fearless tennis that defied all logic. He won 5 consecutive games to take the title. This renaissance was not just about the trophy. It was about the reimagination of his game. He had perfected a more aggressive backhand, neutralizing Nadal's spin. This victory proved that stagnation is the only true end for an athlete. As long as one is willing to evolve, the peak is always reachable. It was a profound statement on the power of the human spirit. Chapter 10. The Last Dance and the Eternal Legacy. In September 2022, the pitch voice of the tennis world fell silent as Roger Federer announced his retirement. His final appearance at the Laver Cup was a poignant celebration of a career that spanned 4 decades. He chose to play his final match in doubles, side by side with his greatest rival and friend, Rafael Nadal. Federer's legacy is not just the 20 Grand Slams or the hundreds of weeks at #1. It is the aesthetic standard he set. He made tennis look like poetry in an era of prose. He proved that one could be a fierce competitor without sacrificing sportsmanship or decorum. Beyond the statistics, his dedication to his craft, albeit with a more Epicurean flair, redefined the peak years of athletes. Roger Federer didn't just play tennis. He left the sport more beautiful than he found it. As we close this chapter, we recognize him as the ultimate architect of elegance. That was an incredibly dense and sophisticated narrative. Before we conclude, let's dissect some of the advanced language used in this episode. Aesthetic and technical mastery. We use aesthetic to refer to beauty, or the appreciation of beauty. Federer's game was as much about how it looked as it was about winning. To supersede. This means to replace or take precedence over. Here, his finesse superseded his opponent's brute force. Magnanimity. A high-level noun for being generous and forgiving, especially toward a rival or after a defeat. His magnanimity in 2008 is legendary. A quintessential example. This means the most perfect or typical example of a quality or class. Federer is the quintessential example of grace under pressure. And that brings us to the end of History 6. Roger Federer's journey reminds us that excellence is not just about what you achieve, but how you achieve it. Your advanced challenge for today. In the comments section, write a brief paragraph in English answering this. In professional sports, is grace and elegance as valuable as raw power and winning at all costs? Can a player be considered a GOAT if they don't possess aesthetic beauty in their game? Use at least one of the vocabulary words from our language spotlight. I have been your narrator, the pitch voice for English Sports Focus. Join us for History 7, where we will explore another titan of the sporting world. Until then, keep listening, keep learning, and keep winning. Tell us in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps us continue creating these detailed lessons. See you next time for more English Sports Focus. Until the next chapter of English Sports Focus, this is the Pitch Voice, signing off.